Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another episode. Well, not an episode, but another live stream on the channel. It is going to be the Fijian Drua versus Moana Pasifika for Super Rugby Pacific. This is going to be an absolutely awesome one. Pacific Islands, the first time that these two sides have done battle in Fiji. It's got a real atmosphere about it at Churchill Park. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Fijian Drua will be Hireti Hatita, Vera Ikanaveri, and also Masaki Dog in the front row. Then Sila Sila and Thurika Davita, the locking duo for the Drua. Tamani Mera and Didia Langi there in the loose forward trio in the back line. Frank Lamani and Tite Teller, new combination from what they had last week, which did involve Caleb Muntz starting at fly half. Ronnie Sau out on that left wing. Ravovo and Masi in the midfield with Ravatamanda and Rua Sisi, the last two men in that starting side. Then for Moana Pasifika, Lindenmouth, Latero Tole, and also Apakatoa. The front row, Curry and McKee. The locking duo, Finau Matanga, and also Solomoni Funaki there at number 8 in the back line. Jonathan Tamatina, Christian Lefano, I should say. 19 combo. Tamoti Tavanawai out on the left wing. Taifu and Levi Amua, the recently signed to the Crusaders, Amua there at 12 and 13. Whaina Nuku and Willie Harvili, the last two men there. We have got Let's Go the Draw. Play as a team. Keep a balance between the structure and flair. Play like it's a final. Says Mr. Billy. And to be honest, this one almost is a final for the Fijian Drua. They are 11th at the moment on the Super Rugby Pacific table. But one win here could boost them all the way up to 7th. So it is a must-win encounter. The Moana Pasifika side, they have not got themselves a victory as of yet throughout this year. Imagine if this was the game that they were able to do it. Hi, Hamish, Fijian Drua, 35-10. I'm predicting high-scoring game. What do you think, says Kevin? Yeah, I can see a high-scoring game just around the corner. I think the first half might be the higher scoring of the two just because the players will still be relatively fresh. That second half, it will only be those players with a really good gas tank that keep it going. Alamana Matanga going to be tackled there on the 22, or is he? He's actually managed to spin out of that. Nice work, getting a couple extra post-contact meters there for Moana Pasifika. Christian Laliafano going across the Taifu now. Pinitoa Finau. Oh, it was almost a tip tackle. Got to be careful with that, and it is going to be the advantage in favour of Moana Pasifika. Big game for the Drua, says the flying pan man. Right, they'll be going back, and they will take that penalty for the tip tackle. That is from Ironi Sau. The last thing that the Fijian Drua need is a whole heap of penalties against them early. I mean, we saw what happened in that final in the sevens department between the Fijians and Argentina. Of course, a whole different scenario. The player did land on his back, but he was carded as if he landed on his head. Completely changed the momentum of the game. That's why the Fijian Drua, they've got to be careful here. And sup, says Amelia. Welcome in. You're doing well. You'll be doing very well after seeing that result last night. The Rebels against the Western Force. And interesting to see who will make the quarters. I picked the Drua 7, 2 wins. The Reds number 8. Landers probably lose to the Blues next week. Force of the Rebels. Also probably lose to the Chiefs and the Brumbies, says the flying pan man. And yeah, all the points are pretty much coming down to the wire for that top 8 spot, which is nice to a certain extent. I feel like it's more of an intriguing battle. That looked like a knock-on from Willie Harvili, but he's going to run forward, and the referee says play on just for now. They move into the 22 now. The Fijian Drua, that was Ronnie Sau, close to getting the turnover. Not successful, though. Latero Tolai now. Moving to only 15 metres out. It seems like Moana Pasifika, just like they do in all of their matches, they're starting with a hiss and a roar. It's normally trying to keep that tempo that they do lose out on. Here comes Levi Amua, wrestled down 20 metres out from the line. It was by Mera off to the left-hand side here again. For Moana Pasifika, they have had a majority of the possession throughout the first 2 minutes of this contest, up to 7 phases now. Another run. And also, yep, round 1 revenge, says Amelia. And 15-minute break. I'll be home in a couple of hours, Hamish. A good afternoon to you, says Spider-Mick. You too, mate. That's going to be offloaded over to Munda. Manages to clean it up for the Fijian Drua. And there is a chance that this game is the one that has the most offloads we have seen throughout any game of Super Rugby Pacific. Just the way that these two sides know how to play, keeping that ball alive. You don't want to go to ground because then there's a risk of losing it in the breakdown. Nice wide cutout pass from the Fijian Drua. Now out to Ronnie Sau. Henry Taifu manages to drag him into touch. Brilliantly done. Now thinking about taking that one quickly was Tima Whainaunuku, decides against it in the end. Good tackle made by Taifu. I think he might be captain today. He was last, or the week before, I believe it was, in Highlanders. One against the Reds, 35 to Highlanders, and 30 to the Reds, says Levi. They certainly did get themselves back up in that top 8. Good to have the sledgehammer back, says DK. Yeah, he's a very dangerous player when he gets any sort of space. And I think he's going to be scoring a try. That was almost a strip there from Mira, but ball still stays on the side of Moana Pasifika. Looks like a beautiful afternoon there in Fiji. Should mention that here where I am, we've actually had the highest temperature recorded ever on this day today. That's a fun fact. Levi Moa wrestled down. Now going to the right-hand side, Christian Leleofano, short ball. Solomoni Funaki, tackle 40 metres out. Latiro Tale, quick hands from Leleofano. Taifu finds the offload to Willie Havili, flicks it out the back door for Pinitoa Finau. Now Moana Pasifika moving back inside of the 22. Tamatino across to Tale. Almost a turnover in the breakdown for Vilivi. Mira, big run from Tava Nawai. Another offload there. Tima Whainaunuku, short side. Willie Havili scores it in the corner. And Moana Pasifika have struck first in this contest. That is certainly not what the crowd were after. The momentum has been all Moana Pasifika so far. It's as if they're running downhill, why they have been able to continuously make the meters. Also, Aloha Milius is Brandon, and also we did have sup from Brandon. It sounds like they're playing a very sad song for Moana Pasifika scoring. Maybe it's just that the song hasn't built up yet, but yeah, it sounds like an emotional ballad that they're playing for William Havili as he got that ball over the line. Let's go to Fiji Drua. And unfortunately, no Timo again in this match. No facilities in Lautoka like Suvo. No, says DK. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't come into play too much. The Timo. Oh yeah, now it's got a little bit of a funky beat behind it. I think it was just the intro was a bit slow. Christian Leleofano right near the touchline here. Come on, Uso was just shouted from the stands. 42 metres out. Probability of 43% of this kick going over. For Leleofano. It's looking pretty good. Has got it over. And that will now make the score 7 points to 0 for Moana Pasifika over the Fijian Drua. Fijian Drua, I'd say, thing that they need to do to switch this momentum around is definitely just get their hands on the ball. It also didn't make too much sense that Nasilasila was actually the only player out on the wing in that scenario because he didn't quite have the pace to be able to keep up with William Havili. Slapped back by the Fijian Drua, but the ball does end up drifting into touch. Now Moana Pasifika will have themselves the line out. And Tawatawanawai needs to be stopped. Drua got work to do. They certainly do. There's some dangerous players in that back line. Even someone like a Henry Taifu in the midfield. Out on that other wing, they've got Tima Whainaunuku. Big man who normally plays for Manawatu in the Bunnings NBC, unlike his brother who does play for the Tasman Marcos. And is heading away to France. The end of the World Cup. Christian Leleofano kicks that one high, a little bit off the side of the boot. Doesn't look happy with it, but it almost worked out for them other than the fact that Alamanda Matanga wasn't quite able to swat it away. Now Drua Sisi for the Fijian Drua. 45 metres out. This is the first time they've been attacking inside of Moana Pasifika's half, and we are now 7 minutes into the contest. Tere Alangi goes across to the left-hand side to Vera Ikanaveri, wrestled down by Levi Moa. Another dangerous player. He will be heading away to the Crusaders for the 2024 and 2025 season. Himself a nice multi-year deal. Out to Taitella. Egeros Drasisi Ravatamanda. Big pressure being put on him, but Ravovo gets it now out wide to Joe Tamani. Frank Lamani on the inside. Tries to step. Bumps off Jonathan Tamatine. It is wrestled down 10 metres out from the line. Now Ravovo goes off to Viliami Mira. Now I'm looking around for Deria Langi. I haven't really seen too much of him yet, but that will be a knock-on against the Fijian Drua. The Moana Pasifika have now got themselves the ball only about 5 meters out from the line. I think Langi. I don't know if he's starting this match. I feel like I've seen someone who looks a lot like Ilya Thanahayavata out there in the starting side, unless, of course, Langi was out on the other wing. Testing. There we go. I can. Says Novmum and Drew can only go up to 10th or 9th, depending on the BD and the BP win and the PD. There we go. Oh, but short in terms. Oh, Novmum, hope you're doing well today, Novmum. Are you excited for the Chiefs game later on tonight against the Brumbies? That should be a very good contest. Come on, the drawer. Are you doing anything about pop-up? That's going to be the penalty now. Oh, they've taken it quickly. They've gone over the Fijian draw. That is one way to do it. They just decided, why not just charge at the line, seeing as we are in the scenario. Oh, there's Meri Langi, and he scored the first try of the contest. So I guess that worked out pretty well in terms of me saying I haven't really seen him so far throughout this contest. He's now definitely been seen taking that quick tap, the Fijian drawer. Does very nicely indeed. Langi, he's a dangerous player in open space, let alone when he's 1 meter out from the line. I don't even know. I don't think he took the quick tap. I think they just decided to keep on using the advantage. Yeah, Langi gets the try, ends up with a Frank Lamani on his back for his troubles. Now that will more than likely make the score 7 points to 7. 14 kicks taken so far throughout the season for Lamani. Only 9 successful, so not the greatest record this year for him compared to previous season, but that has gone over. 10 minutes into the contest, now it is 7-all. Had a nice sleep before, says Novmum. And also like, subscribe. What I say a lot on Tuesday, says Brandon. Oh, yeah, no, I haven't got any pop-ups at this stage. And also, Moana Pasifika players are getting stolen by other New Zealand franchises like the Satyrs. Yeah, it's a big shame. Like, it's great for Levi Amoa because he's now going to be getting, I guess, a little bit of a pay rise because he was a sought-after player. But it means that Moana Pasifika, don't get me wrong, they've got a great talent pool, but their talent pool is still just that little bit limited, you'd have to say. And to lose one of their bigger players in that back line, to then have to try and find a replacement player from either overseas or from the young talent. Like, I saw someone make a comment the other day, and I was thinking about it, and if it's correct, it's going to be a bit of a shame, but they were saying how Moana Pasifika could end up being just the feeder team for Super Rugby New Zealand sides. How it's just whoever has a good season there then gets selected for another Kiwi team, and then that just becomes what repetitively happens, and Moana Pasifika don't progress. And I hope that's not the case, but I wouldn't put it past New Zealand Rugby to have some sort of plan like that. And who's next? Tawai to the Blues or the Landers? Says DK. I could see Tawai as a bit of a Landers winger, to be honest. I don't think he'd go to the Blues just because they seemed to. Well, I thought the Crusaders had plenty of centres, and they got another one in Levi Amoa. But yeah, I mean, Tawai down south, as bad as it would be for Moana Pasifika, I think a lot of people would like to see it. I just hope that it kind of doesn't happen because Moana Pasifika need their team to stay as their side rather than everyone leaving. Nawai getting wrestled down now by Kanaveri. And Levi has been playing for Tasman Marcos, so the Satyrs region. Is the flying pan man. And also Aaron Smith will be hard to replace at the Highlanders, certainly will be. Which is where they'll look at someone like I don't know who they'll go to. They've got Whakatava, they've got James Ascott. They still got Kane Hamilton, or is he retired now? I believe they have got their third option, though. Now, back across to this left-hand side. In fact, they've got that man with a real hard name to say. Nice run forward here from Osefu Masi. Double fend, double step. In fact, make it a triple step, and he will score the try for the Fijian draw. That is the way to do it, and the crowd are absolutely loving it there. Second try of the match for the Fijian drawer. And also, my workmate told me that the Blues John Afoa signed for to play for the Crusaders. Is that true, Hemi? Is he? I mean, I know that he's been playing overseas. I think he's been at Bristol, if I'm not wrong, but he's heading to the Crusaders. I mean, maybe just because of all of the props that they have lost injured recently. Similar to what you could say that the Hurricanes did with Owen Franks, they might just be bringing in a veteran. How about some of those younger guys? The Drua scored, says Shane Hayes. They certainly did, and Levi. I know, I read that one. That one. Gone over. Sifo Masi in his first season has gone to all-time leading try scorer for the Fijian Drua now, which is quite surprising with how well Vinay Habossi did go last year when he was in action. Already we're seeing 3 tries in the first 13 minutes. I do not think this game will be a low-scoring one, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's just going to be flat out try after try, maybe about 5 minutes between them, and get the W draw, get the bonus point too. Yeah, bonus point could be very important for them in this matchup. 14 minutes in, 14 points to the draw, 7 for Moana Pasifika, who now have to try and find an answer to that pressure Fijian Drua creating. That was almost it, although it is a knock on from Tavatava Nawai. Mira cleans up. Ball goes out the back. Lamani across to Ikanaveri. Like they've said, it was a tad of a slow start for the Drua, but then after that, they managed to just find their rhythm. Big wide pass from Derialangi in the midfield. So that might be a turnover, though. Nope, we are going back for the original knock on, and will be the scrum feed for the Fijian Drua. Long advantage there from, I believe that's not Damon Murphy, that's Jordan Way, I believe, who's in charge of the refereeing department for this contest. And at the was says keep it sicky. Yeah, we're going to be covering their game up against Crusaders just around the corner. It is going to be myself and George doing that live stream. So he will be in his, I guess, his energetic self mood he is always in Highlanders. We'll be hoping Moana win this. Says Stone Cold. Yeah, that position for 7th and 8th at the moment is very heavily contested. Every point's crucial, and even the points differential is absolutely massive as well. Do the Highlanders still have a chance of making the playoffs? They do. They're currently sitting in 8th. So theoretically, if Moana Pasifika win, then they would still be in the top 8 at the end of this round. But with only another 1 round to go, it's going to be going down to the wire. That is for sure. Nice run here from Ravatamunda. Brilliant pace being shown. Christian Laliafano manages to knock it back, but it's picked straight back up by Calaveti Ravovo. And the penalty advantage is in favour of the Fijian Drua now. Passing it across to the left-hand side. Skip pass out to Drua Sese. They're not stopping him from there. He just drives straight over the top of Levi Amoa. It's the 3rd try of the match now for the Fijian Drua. Absolutely loving it in the crowd, like I mentioned. What about Falau, Israel? No? Israel Folau playing for the Barbarians with Pia Tauemi? Yeah. Great combination. And then to have in the midfield of that side, I just want to make sure I say the right team. It's Narila Mape, and on his outside, they've got Semi Rodradra. So that is an outstanding background. Oh, sorry, that's actually the World 15, I think I was listening there. The Barbarians midfield, Samu Karivi, and also Tamani Valu. So there's just talent all over the place. A lot of Pacific Island talent, which is great to see for the matchup. A lot of ABs and Black Ferns taking New Zealand rugby sabbaticals, getting overseas for lucrative contracts. You believe New Zealand still have the depth in between the World Cup to compete? Says DK. We actually talked quite in depth about it in the first half of last night's live stream, myself and George. And we were talking about the fact that, unfortunately, like New Zealand rugby, they are living a little bit in the past. Not everyone wants to just play international rugby now, not when there's millions of dollars to be made overseas. And it's either that you got to change the eligibility ruling, or you got to start giving some of these guys who are starting to think about going overseas, you got to start giving them the opportunity to stay. Because if you don't, then they're just going to go, aren't they? And also, Drew have been really strong in Fiji. Smart to move the home games to Fiji, says Stone Cold. It was. And hopefully they do the same for Moana Pasifika in their upcoming contest next year, I believe it would be. I see Wong is going to the NRL. A lot of rugby sevens girls are leaving. Why is that, Amish, says Kevin? Just depending on what the scenario is, whether it's family, whether it's a good contract that they've been offered, whether it's trying to experience something new. I feel like there are a lot of reasons for it. That was a big push from, I think that was Ravovo on Tava Tava Nawai. Now Ezekiel Lindenmouth runs forward. Tamatine goes across to William Havili. Yeah, maybe that too. And Mo with Japan will help and stop the exodus. Oops, that's a mistake. In the midfield, I think that was Solomoni Funaki. Ended up knocking that ball on, unfortunately. And they actually said the captain, so he is captaining today rather than Levi Moore, it would seem. Tamatine just went straight through the bread basket, unfortunately. Not what you want. Well, we're going to go like this. There we go. I thought that was a cat, but it's just a massive bird outside. I saw it out of the corner of my eye and I thought, oh, I've never seen a cat that colour around these parts in a while. And yeah, no, just massive bird. And set the fire on stage. Oh, sorry, set the stage on fire, Drua and Moana. We are very proud of both teams showcasing the entertainment brand of rugby. The future of Pacific Island rugby is bright. It certainly is. That'll be a knock on there, unfortunately. Like, that's the thing. These two sides are a great opening match for Super Rugby on a Saturday. Definitely when there are 3 games to follow. Just because everyone's going to be hyped up beyond belief. The Waratahs versus Crusaders game, that is the one that I feel might end up dragging the chain, depending on how the match ends up going. I hope that it's going to be good, though, so that it can continue that momentum right through to Hurricanes versus Blues and then the Brumbies taking on the Chiefs for their last one. Frank Lamani also actually knocking that ball on, unfortunately. There we go. Barbarians versus World 15, Monday on at 1 a.m. Says DK, should be a great test match. Eddie versus Steve. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We will be covering that one on the channel. I'm still trying to work out exactly what way I want to watch it here in New Zealand. I'll probably need to get the VPN fired up. I don't think they are showing it on Sky, but there are a few other options that we should be able to watch it on. Just looking through at the FIJIAN DRUA past results. They haven't gone too bad in some of their games at home, that is for sure. They've only had, I believe, 1 loss playing in Fiji this year. It's pretty impressive. The next game, though, it's going to be at HFC Bank Stadium in Suva. That will be up against the Reds. It's going to be a big game because that might actually determine who keeps themselves in that top 8 and who ends up missing out, or who gets themselves in the top 8, I should say. I've also realised I forgot to turn on this light. It made hardly any difference, but it's a little bit brighter now. 20 minutes in at the moment. The scrum has gone down. Scrum again. Is the call, and Dan back to work later, Hammy, says Spider-Meat. We will see you later on. I'm about to sneeze again. It's supposed to be the hottest day that we've had here ever, but Sinus is loving it. Fire up the VPN boss. Good afternoon, the Kiwi lad, says Nate. Welcome in, mate. You have been keeping well since yesterday. Got a George joining us on the next stream between the Tars and the Crusaders. So that will be a very interesting one because, in his words, this is all secret, by the way, his words, the Crusaders, of course, are his side. He said that the Waratahs, he calls them the most boring Australian side. So if they were able to beat the Crusaders, that would be very interesting. Banged on heaps of notifies this morning. You got heaps of games coming up. Says Nazi Wiggins. Exactly right. We have got 6 games on that we are covering all throughout the night. We will be sleeping in about 16 hours' time, or at least that is when we're ending the live streaming side of things. We were going to be up for 18 hours today. Nice ball off now to the left-hand side. Mike McKee dragged down. Oh, Jonathan Tamatino. Ball gets stuck in there a little bit, but the advantage now is in favour of Moana Pasifika. Cut out pass, sits up for Tima Whaina Nuku, ball on the outside to Tava Nawai. He is in touch. So that will be going back for the penalty. Hello, I'm back. And nice. Looking forward to the Crusaders 96-17 over the Tar, says Blues Nate, and Crusaders winning. Good to see Jordan back, says Shane. Yeah, he did play relatively, like he's getting better. His first week was a bit rough. Second week was still a little bit rough, but slightly better. And now hopefully he starts finding his stride again. And draw versus the Reds next week, last round in Suva, Fiji. Another interesting one. Yeah, that has potential to be the game of the weekend, I think, the way that it does match up. And like I mentioned, both teams need to win it, which is why it will almost have a little bit more of that finals feel. And depending on how the other games go, will depend on, of course, what kind of game we see. It's the first game on the Saturday, so there's still a few games behind it, including the Waratahs playing and the Force playing. That will be the try now, I believe. That looks like Alamana Matanga. No, it might be Lindenmuth. Yes, it is. Has managed to get himself the try. And draw 11-20, please. Says him there. Great try from Ezekiel Lindenmuth, the big number one. Getting over the line. It's an interesting choice because normally you would go back to your number two in that scenario. But because of how quickly it was moving forward, which I don't know whether or not that was down to FIJIAN DRUA just not quite getting those men in right position early, or it was just that brilliant of a rolling ball from Moana Pasifika. But yeah, Ezekiel Lindenmuth picks up his try. That will make a little bit of a difference to the scoreboard, making it a bit closer. Why isn't Moana Pasifika doing well this season? Have they won any round yet? Says DK. They have not. No. They've been extremely close multiple times. Every time they just seem to, I guess, disappear at the final hurdle. And one of the reasons I think is just that they haven't had long enough to get, I guess, acquainted with each other. Like at the end of the day, this is a very new side. The FIJIAN DRUA, they came in at the same time, but the advantage that they had is a lot of their players played together in the NRC. So they already relatively knew what each other could do. And then they just had a few more better players added in. Lealiafano trying to line up this kick. 21 points, maybe 14 at the moment. Instead of Origin Wednesday night live stream, it is the plan, maybe, at this stage. We haven't really worked out what the plan is. That one, that one's missed for Lealiafano. Not too happy with that, but the score remains now 21 points to 12. Also, can the Drua still make the finals? They certainly can. If they manage to get themselves 2 wins in a row, they will be right up there. It's just whether or not the other sides around that mark can also get themselves their wins. And Aaron Major left. Hopefully, they get a better coach. Says DK. Well, that's the thing. I feel like depending on where the coach is from, they may lose some of that culture of the Moana Pasifika side, which would be a shame to see. But, I mean, if you chuck an English coach in there or something like that, like he's not going to have the same appreciation for the Moana Pasifika side as what Aaron Major did. Nice run from Drua Sisi. Tried to find the offload on the outside. Does end up knocking on partially, and I believe that is going to be a penalty there to Moana Pasifika. Drua's discipline starting to let them down a little bit here. Momentum is shifting. There's about 2 or 3 in a row that they have been penalised for. And also, I had a dream Scott Robinson walked out on the AB's job. Says Hanoi. Be an interesting one. I mean, that's the thing. If you lose him as coach, who's your next option? Everyone said for so long, he's the guy, but he has a few losses. People are going to be like, nah, he's not the guy. Now we're going to have to switch back to Foster. But the thing that will make it more interesting is if Foster somehow wins the World Cup. Because then people will be like, oh, I guess we have to get rid of Robinson to get Foster back since he's won a World Cup. It's going to be weird, isn't it? And also, say Lossi has got the emojis there. 3 of them as well. It's like a repetitive smack to the forehead. Just 3 of those. And now Latero Tole, 10 metres out from the line here. Moana Pasifika hanging on to this ball quite nicely. Although with the FIJIAN DRUA giving away so many penalties, it is meaning it's a lot easier to hang on to possession. That's going to be straight through. Willie Hartbelly scores again, and that will now make the score even closer. 21 points to 17. Moana Pasifika are not out of this contest yet, ladies and gentlemen. And where can we watch Barbarians versus World 15 live? Not on Sky Sports New Zealand. It doesn't seem to be. One of the options is it's in the Northern Hemisphere, but you will need a VPN's the only thing. So if you haven't got a VPN, this probably wouldn't be the one for you, but I think it's on 5 or something along those lines. I'll just scroll down. Yeah, My 5 Live is what it's called. My 5 Live TV is where you can watch it. I did see, but they will give a little bit more information about where to find it when it gets a little bit closer. But yeah, hopefully Sky or Stan ends up picking it up in Munster Storm tonight too. Says Hanoi, yeah. Big game between the Munster and the Stormers. The final with the URC. And no, Moana Pasifika are back. Says DK. Leleofano. This one a little bit easier than the last kick for Leleofano. Only 12 minutes remaining in this first half. It is flying by, but then it always does when you got so many tries being scored in a short amount of time. They were talking about before that maybe Christian Leleofano may find himself putting on that Samoan kit for the Rugby World Cup. Just around the corner. That one has gone over. That will now make the score 21 points to 19. So it's been pretty successful for Frank Lamani getting those 3 kicks over. Without that, who knows who could have been elite? Does George ever do early daytime matches with you? Says Anoint. He's coming around for the 4:30 p.m. game between the Crusaders and the Waratahs, if that counts. Would you say that counts, or are you talking about like 4 a.m. New Zealand time? Now there's going to be firing it. 5 meters out from the line for Moana Pasifika, having a dive on that one. A little bit of a counter-ruck there from the Drua. That was Jonathan Tamatine. Back into the pocket. And big boot downfield. Was needed, though. Done well. About 10 meters out from the line now. Sorry, 10 meters out from halfway. Yep, that's early enough, 4 p.m. Says Hanoi. So, yeah, he's done a couple of the early-ish afternoon games. The only thing with those real early morning ones, like the 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m. ones, is if it's on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, normally he isn't able to join because he has got work early on Monday morning as well. Now that it's going to be off to the left-hand side, Lamani, which is also why you don't really see him for any 9:30 games at night time. He does normally go out and, early-ish start in the morning. Do you think Josh Ioane might make the switch to Samoa? I mean, he's got the option, doesn't he? But it's just whether or not he wants to do that, knowing that Richie Mo'unga is going overseas, knowing that Bowden Barrett is going overseas. There's quite a few players that now with them gone, Josh Ioane may get the nod, get a bit more of a role in the AB's environment. A lot of pressure being put in there for Moana Pasifika in the breakdown. Tamani finds the offload now. Big shot on Masaki Dog. I think he took it on the chin there. There is a van that is pulling up at my house. Now ball on the outside to Eroni Sau. Now to the right, Lamani. Short ball. Close to the line again. Frank Lamani goes to the left and over the line. It is the sledgehammer. Eroni Sau manages to get the try. And also Lester Whananuku, a big loss for New Zealand Rugby, ABs and the Satyrs off to Europe for another lucrative contract, says DK. And yeah, at the end of the day, when the money's there, like we mentioned on last night's live stream, it's great playing for your country. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of players nowadays see that as almost like a either stepping stone or an inconvenience with their big contracts that they can make overseas. And we're losing a lot of top players this year. Says Shane, certainly are. And it will be interesting to see the landscape of New Zealand rugby in the next 12 months, how quickly it changes. And the sledgehammer, says DK, and Ioane, D-Mac, Perafeta will be next year's 10s. Says Hanoi there as well. Now, 26 points to 19. Ronnie Sau, that was his 3rd try that he's had throughout the season. Lamani taking some deep breaths there. 3 from 3 so far today, so not a bad effort. That one has missed away to the left-hand side, though. Score does remain at 26 points to 19 in favour of the Fijian Drua. This actually has the potential of being one of the highest scoring games we have seen throughout this year of Super Rugby Pacific. If we see one more try in this first half, we're looking at a 100-point contest. But I did see that the first half was going to have more points than the second. And also, we have got there, can you tell George to cover his ball bags when on camera, mate, says Nazi. I mean, telling George to do something he's not allowed to do just makes him do it more. So if he sees that, he'll probably just get his nut out for you, Nazi, which would not go well, I have to say. YouTube don't really like that sort of thing. 7 minutes remaining. Looks like there's a little bit of an injury here. Maybe just a bit of strapping going into the foot. And I mentioned, Hammy, of the exodus of Kiwi directors, coaches, and trainers to Europe, Japan, and USA, eh? Says DK. Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's not just the players who are going overseas, is it? New Zealand rugby using or losing a lot of people. Funny, mate. Here's Nazi Williams. Fun fact, my groceries that I ordered online have just been delivered. They are sitting at the back door. The good news is we are 7 minutes away from halftime. They could have showed up at any stage before or after this match, but instead they showed up during. And there are some things that deserve or belong in the freezer. So, yeah, after this half is finished, I'll quickly pop away for like a minute, get them in the freezer, and then we're all good to go. A lot of ABs might sign 3-year contracts, earn the big bucks overseas while they do their 3-year international stand-down, says Stone Cold. Yeah, you could look at it that way. Maybe end up signing for another team around the world. Now, Christian Leleofano goes across to William Havili. Now, down the wing, Tima Whainanuku breaks the line, finds the offload on the inside to Jonathan Damatino. One more to Levi Amoa. Bulldozers over the line. And that is another try now for Moana Pasifika. We've got 50 points in the first half, ladies and gentlemen, and there is still 6 minutes to go. Everyone's scoring a try. 10 tries. No, it's not. It's 8 tries in the first half. Fiji knock out Aussie or New Zealand in the World Cup? Would they kick them out of Super Rugby comp? Says Hanoi. I don't think so. I think they'd try and work out a way of adding another Fijian team that also has players who are eligible to play for New Zealand. And what a game, says Stone Cold. 5 minutes remaining. Brilliant work from Levi Amoa. Just a bulldozer's way over. That is something that the Crusaders, they'll be looking at and going, yeah, we got them. And there goes my prediction. There's Kevin Layla. Yeah, there goes the truck that delivered me groceries. I think I've only got one frozen thing, and that was some frozen hash browns. Fun times. Levi, well done. See you in the Satyrs next year. Enjoy Christchurch. And also, Levi Moore will look good in the Satyrs jersey next season. I hope he's, at this stage, the only Moana Pasifika player who they do end up losing to other New Zealand sides. I feel like I didn't mind for the Fijian Drua to a certain extent, like when they were losing the likes of a Vinaya Habosi or something along those lines. Like, it wasn't as bad because he was going overseas to play more rugby. Playing for a New Zealand side, though, I feel like it kind of like, they're not going to get much game time. It's gone away to the left-hand side, the right-hand side for Christian Leleofano. I'll make the score remain at 26 to 24. It's a reflect for Christian. The battle cancer and bounce back into top-level footy is amazing. Yeah, these players are incredibly fit. And Leleofano, like you mentioned, he's an absolute warrior. And could end up putting on the Samoan kit in the near future. And also, Amor would be good at league. Here's Hanoi. If the Satyrs end up dropping the ball with him, perhaps, and then our NRL side might end up trying to pick him up. It looks like it could almost be, no, not quite. I was going to say a penalty to the Fijian Drua, but they didn't quite get their hands on the ball. Brilliant kick downfield. I think that was that Jonathan Tamatine? He's coming off the bench, so it would have been Eddie Tara Inri, I think. Or did they switch? I thought Tamatine was starting this match. They go with Eddie Tara Inri instead. Maybe. It kind of looked like him. Now throw for Tavita Ikanaveri. And Blue should release Roger to the Warriors. Says Shane Hayes there. Roger's kind of dug himself a hole, hasn't he? Because He's put himself down the pecking order for the Warriors. He's pretty much put everyone in New Zealand Rugby Union off him. Joe Tamani, big run up the middle here, getting close, only a couple meters out from the line. Lamani joins the breakdown. Brilliant work from him. Around the side, Levi Amua is able to get the turnover. Levi to follow Sonny Bill Williams, do box and 2 on the side. And what do you think of the new eligibility rules? Do you like them, or do you think it should be a 2-year stand down? Says Stone Cold. I mean, we were talking about it, me and George, yesterday. We had almost like a podcast on that first half. Penalty to the Fijian Drua, right? They might consider a quick tap here. Yeah, we pretty much just ended up talking all about the eligibility and, signings of around the world. I think we came to the conclusion that it's a bit weird for rugby, isn't it? Because the fact that you can go from playing for one side at international level and then playing for another seems really strange. But at the same time, if you've got the availability to do so, I guess it kind of works, And also, old mate plays a prank on us, sent a pic. Almape signed to play for Wales. Says Nate all round the side. Who's that? No, the ball's gone out the back. I think that's going to be a knock-on against Moana Pasifika. Oh, it actually becomes a penalty for Moana Pasifika. And yes, there's Shane. And yes, Shane, it'll be handy back end of the season. Although the question is, would they play him? Or would it be like Caleb Clark for the ABs, how he came back and then they didn't really give him much of a chance at all because of those other players who had been there the whole season? Isaac has said, go the Drua. There as well. One kick downfield from William Arvelli. They could actually take the lead at halftime here for the Moana Pasifika side if they can get this set play right. Was that a prank? I thought it was real, says Nazi Williams. I mean, Laumape for Wales may be a bit of a stretch, but Laumape for Tonga maybe could be a little more likely. And also, we have got there, World Rugby is directly and indirectly influenced by Northern Hemisphere unions, clubs, and sponsors. Just played rugby for the school and lost 58 points to 12. We played the team in a higher A grade, and they won 93-7 last week, so not a bad game. So decent from you, Heath. Did you score a try? Although I assume if you did score one of the 2 tries, you probably would have told me in that first message, wouldn't you? I played a prank, Photoshop nutty pick, signed 2-year contract for the Warriors in 2024. Says Blues Nate. See there, Ronnie Clark. No, that's Michael Jones, isn't it? Sorry, my apologies. Watching on. 10 seconds remain in the first half. Hi, Sonalevu. There's Melanated Peoples. Welcome in. And what's your favourite Aaron Smith memory from games he's played, says Shane? It's very hard to pick one memory, I'd say, from a 170-plus game career at the Highlands. I mean, he's had a bunch of great tries. Been there for so long. Now we're heading overseas to Japan, where hopefully he'll be able to create plenty more big memories for himself. I'm pretty sure Laumape will play for Tonga next year. I says Stone Cold. Yeah, I feel like if the opportunity's there, he will take it. Been watching your cricket videos, says Kevin. Hopefully you've been enjoying them. We've had 3 go out so far. Nice man there, nice shot. And all good, Heath. At least you got out there, dude. And now I got folded and away next week. Says Heath. Now Ikanaveri in the midfield. Dragged down well. Going off to the left-hand side, Misaki dog. Good work in the breakdown, though, from Moana Pasifika. Again, they end up. Okay, there's going to be a little knock-on. That will be halftime in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. And the score, 26 points to 24. Now, what we will quickly do, ladies and gentlemen, is I am just going to be popping away very briefly for halftime. That is because I have got groceries at the back door that have got some frozen stuff that is currently melting. So I will be back in a very short moment. Enjoy a song while I'm away. We'll give you a bit of heavy hitter. The name of the song. We will be back in a very short moment. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. I had groceries at the back door. I forgot I also got some shoestring fries, so they were another frozen item that we did have in there. But yeah, we are back, ready for the second half, which is just around the corner. So far, so good. Come on, the draw, says DK. State of Origin is on my birthday, says Shane there. And I'd say Aaron Smith's favourite game was and also Fekitoa and Charles Piatel sent us with the Tonga squad. The problem is, though, both of those two men got injured in one game for Tonga. Same with Israel Folau. They lost Piatel, Folau, and also Fekitoa all in one contest. So that's something that will be scary for Tonga. If they do end up losing all those players at once, they aren't really going to have too many backups in that squad. Nazi Williams, yeah. Was it so? Or yeah, was it? Was fun. Add mates on the other team. So yes, says Heath. And play us some Isaac music, says Nate. And also we have got there, Ayo, that song was a banger. Found Isaac's channel and sub, says Rando Rando. I'm sure he'll be happy about that. Isaac, he hasn't posted anything on there for a little while, but we have to get him posting some more music. Wasn't sure if it was okay to drop Isaac's YouTube channel, boss. No, completely fine, Nate. Although, did it go through? I think you're a moderator, aren't you, Nate? So that should go through. I prefer Hamish on the Gat doing the South African national anthem, or the dogs and the cats ripping into it. Says Nazi Williams there. So yeah, we had to go and get it. If that was my place, I'd be stolen by now. Luckily, we were quick. That actually worked out not too bad timing-wise, because that could have showed up 1 minute into the second half, and then I would be in the scenario of going, do I head away or do I stay and let it sit out there for 39 minutes? And there was a piece of salmon out there, so I don't know how well that would go in the sun. Are your parents at the game? Says, no, Mum, they aren't, unfortunately. I think my mum, she was keen on heading to it possibly, but it was just in a different part of Fiji than where they were. So I meant that they weren't quite able to. My dad is playing golf at this very moment in Fiji, so looks like nice enough weather where they are. Hopefully it is the same as well where he's playing golf. And Jack, say hi. Hello, Jack. And also we have got there. Who do you think will win this game? At the moment, it's a bit of a 50-50, to be honest. Like, both sides have had pretty good moments on attack, but also pretty poor moments on defense. Like they mentioned there, the Moana Pasifika rolling maul just looked like it was almost too easy for them to make their way over the line. Tonga and Pool B, I think, can injure the box in their match, says Hanoi. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Even if Tonga aren't winning games, they still hit you hard. Is it $14 delivery like here in Oz for Countdown or more? It is free for myself because I am a Countdown delivery member thing. I'll check what the name is, but pretty much it's you pay a certain amount of money each month and then you get unlimited free deliveries. It works out not too badly because I probably get like 3 or maybe even more than 4 deliveries a week. So, or not a week, sorry, a month. So $23 a month for $5.75 a week, New Zealand, or you can get it 6 months for $118, sorry. And pretty much what that does is like it's $14 per regular delivery, but with the like savings one, delivery saver spend over 80. Yep, that's the one. So yeah, you end up spending $81 or $80 when you're trying to get something delivered, but most of the time you end up just getting something for the freezer or something if you're just short. Visual Sata's got John Alpha, I should say, says DK. Yeah, it's a decent option overall. Some things, I got some random stuff today. I got some taco shells because for some reason I feel like I want to make a taco in the near future. Seems like a good idea. Not sure why. And Crusaders win 13 plus in the next game. Says Shane, they should have a decent chance. I would say it works out cheaper. Yeah, I think so far I've saved, I don't know how much it says somewhere, but I think it was over $400 off having the delivery saver thingy rather than paying $14 per time, because I think there's also you get free shipping for over $200 spent? that another thing they have, or is that not? I can't quite remember if that was them or somewhere else that you got to spend like $200 and then they'll give you free shipping. In fact, I don't even think that is what they do. Yeah, maybe. So yeah, I got some chips and got some hash browns, whatnot. A lot of potatoes. 53% possession for the Fijian drawer in the first half. 52% territory. 4 penalties against them. 3 against Moana Pasifika, and 11 defenders beaten for both of these sides. So the second half going to be a fast-paced one, that is for sure. Forward, seeing how it does end up going. It's just around the corner as well because we did our delivery of groceries and put them away. It works out that we might actually not have too many more minutes of half time. Sad has got cash to burn, no issues with financial resources there. Here's DK. Yeah, they're just having their team huddle at the moment. The Fijian draw, I'd say we're about 3 minutes away from the second half. Chiefs versus Brumbies. Do you think it will be an easy win for the Chiefs? No. I think maybe in the end they might get a bit of a lead going if they do play well, but I don't think it will be easy. I think it's going to be a real tough game up against the Brumbies. And hopefully the Brumbies push them because I feel like that's exactly what they will want as well, which sounds a bit weird to say. The Chiefs, of course, you would think they'd want an easy victory, but I think they're more likely to want a tough fought, just sneak by and win by 8 points, just so that it cancels out the bonus point. We go. What game are you doing around 7:30 p.m. tonight? 7:30 p.m. will be the Hurricanes versus Blues, although that one will be starting at 7 p.m. So yeah, we will be doing that one. It's a shame because every Warriors game at the moment overlaps with a big Super Rugby game. Like we want to do some of the NRL, we want to do some of the State of Origin as well. Last year, I did end up doing the State of Origin with Dad, and I feel like that was quite cool. So I'd like to bring that back, but currently he is away on holiday. And Chiefs need another loss, ending in the playoffs, says Shane Hayes. Or heading into, or ending into the playoffs, says Shane there. Although, that's the thing, I don't think they'll want it to be up against the Brumbies, although it does help the competition because that would be two Australian sides getting themselves victories over the Kiwis. And got to switch my loyalty for that, bro. Sorry. Says Nazi Williams. Completely understand. At the end of the day, Super Rugby, you have 6 games a weekend. NRL, if you're committed to the Warriors, you only get to see them play once. So, understandable. Showing a BP ad. I was trying to read what it said on the screen and heading, sorry. Says Shane. Yeah, I think I slightly worked it out in the end, didn't I? It just took me a little bit longer. Second half, not too far away between these two sides. I think Moana Pasifika, here's a bold prediction. I think they might be the side to score the first try of the second half. A pretty bold prediction. I'm going to check the odds for this matchup. See how they are sitting. This. So, the information that I can tell you at this stage is that $4.80 underdogs at the moment, Moana Pasifika, and I feel like they aren't really completely out of this contest. I feel like they've got a really good crack of being able to come back into it in the near future. But you just never know. It's a hard one to predict. And yeah, saw those State of Origins with your dad. He knows his league. He certainly does. He knows the old school stuff. I'm more of a to be fair though, I've hardly watched any of the NRL this year, and it's not down to not wanting to. It's just down to the schedule's been almost more busy than it was last year. And last year I was struggling to find the time to watch this stuff. So before State of Origin, I'm definitely going to have to do plenty of research. I only have like 2 or 3 days to do it, but I'm going to have to school up big time. Also, who is going to score the next points, says Robert? The team or the player, Robert? I assume that's for some sort of betting. Tars this year's champion, says Isaac. I mean, the Waratahs, as long as they're in that top eight, that's the big thing. Currently for them, they are sitting in sixth. They're on 31 points, which theoretically means they shouldn't be able to drop out of that top eight. But then saying that, no, they shouldn't be able to. They can't. So they will be in there somewhere. They won't be able to boost themselves up above the Hurricanes. The team, says Robert. Is it for like a betting odds one, Robert? What are your odds looking like first? Because if they're not that great, they're probably not the best one to bet on overall for this contest. Is the Sky Sport app or Sky Sport Now app delayed? A little bit, 30 seconds is what they have, which is why sometimes the commentary is a little bit slower than we would like, but that is just because the game hasn't quite kicked in at that stage. Greg Fleming, FIJIAN DRUA assistant coach, saying, yeah, there are a few tries scored in the first half. 8 tries to be exact. Like, that is a massive number to have. I would have predicted a try for Ikanaveri, though, to be honest, in that first half. It seems quite incredible that he was one of the players who missed out on possibly getting himself a try. Right. Joe Tamani looking determined here. Now, William Arveli kicks it off high. We are back underway for the second half here, ladies and gentlemen. Mira claims it and big shot. Charging straight at the line. A little bit of a counter ruck there from Alamanda Matanga. It doesn't quite work out for him. It looks like Lamani will be putting this one high into the sky. Here's a player I would have probably predicted as a possible try scorer. That will be a knock-on from the FIJIAN DRUA. Moana Pasifika looking to attack here. Nice inside ball to William Arveli. Penetoe Finau now runs up to the 22. At the start of halftime, I did say that I thought Moana Pasifika would be the first side to score. At the moment, they're not looking too bad. Although the FIJIAN DRUA get themselves the clean turnover. Ikanaveri now with the roll. The penalty goes the way of Moana Pasifika. Right. They could take the 3 points here and get into the lead in this contest, which I believe might be the best option for them. They will take on this shot. First three-pointer of the day that we are going to be seeing, and it's probably fair enough. To be honest, get themselves that cheeky lead of 1 point. FIJIAN DRUA, that will frustrate them just that little bit. Ikanaveri, I think they've got him there for the extra roll. Yes, it is. Moana Pasifika out. I'll say 28 meters out, maybe 20, 26 when you equate the angle into play. Okay, it was 28. I shouldn't have tried to count the angle. 42 minutes into the contest to get the lead for the first time in this game. And the kick is good. 27 points to 26. FIJIAN DRUA down. So this is now going to be a great tester. See what kind of comeback they can try and put on. I know it's only 1 point, but I think the FIJIAN DRUA are the type of side that now that they're down, they'll try and score 3 tries in quick succession. Also, we have got there 27 points to 26, and Moana Pasifika nails the penalty, says DK. Now Teteitela puts the ball up high. Robert Tamanda chasing after it, but it is nicely taken by, I think that was Mike McKee. Now off to the right-hand side, Levi Amua. Getting out of one, tackle moves just out of the 22. It is a knock-on there, though, from McKee, and that will now be the scrum feed for the FIJIAN DRUA. I hope not Shane. Well, hope not Shane, sorry. I should say. We're going to use that come the Warriors game tonight. It's only delayed by 30 seconds, though, Nazi. So it's not like to the extent of you won't be able to catch the action live. It's just you won't be able to catch it live, if that makes sense. Like, you're just 30 seconds behind. So by the time it gets to that point, you don't miss too much in terms of social media or the chat or anything like that. Territory 50-50 in this contest so far. The sun's actually coming back out here. It's been quite a good day. I only actually made my way out of bed at about 1 p.m. today. We were editing right through to about 5:30 a.m. last night. Yeah, so all those videos that came out early morning today, whether that was the lineups video for this one, whether it was the Stormers game that we did do the lineups for last night, whether it was the other two Super Rugby games we squeezed in, they were all taking place at about 4 a.m. Go the Drua. There's Kalakalo in there as well. They have now got themselves the scrum feed. Beautiful day in Dunedin. There's Shane. Right, Frank Lamani about to put the ball in here. I'm thinking a set play. Be just around the corner for the Drua. Go Moana. There's Isaac. Ball goes in. Meri Dirialangi onto the short side. Lamani sells the dummy. Drag down. 10 meters out. Ronnie Sal now. Moves a little bit closer to the try line. Lamani goes across to the big man. Te Ahoaru. Oh, that ball's gone through their hands, but it sits up for Drua Sese. They can't stop him. And he scores another try there for the Fijian Drua. Oops, I was wrong about the Western Force. Yeah, they didn't really turn up, did they? Their game up against the Rebels, which was a bit of a shame because I thought it would be a bit closer than the 30-something point difference. But Drua Sese, 5th career try for the Drua. Actually was a mistake from Revovo. Had the ball go straight through his hands, and that actually set up the try opportunity for Drua Sese. And come on, the Drua. Says DK there. Great run, though. Up the middle of the field. Manages to get the try. Deep breaths being taken by Moana Pasifika. They did have the lead for a whole 2 minutes of the contest. Lamani now lines up the kick. It does go over. That will now make the score 31 points to 27. At the moment, the more likely of the scores is actually the Fijian Drua to win by 13 plus is what the score odds are predicting. Yeah, just Drua Sese's too big and strong the way that he ran there. I looked at the NRL timetable, worked if I get Sky Sport now around kickoff at 7:30 with weekly pass, I get Origin and next week's Warrior game in that one payment. Very strategic. As long as you haven't already done the payment before on your same account, you should be good. I think that's the only thing that sometimes makes them quit it. You just got to remember to cancel it. Like I would set a reminder on your phone halfway through that Warriors game and then also at the end of the Warriors game next week. That is definitely a good play to do. Because I've had Stan Sport. I had Stan for like 4 months because I forgot all about it. And then I checked and I had been charged like $70 for Stan, which was not ideal because I hadn't watched a single thing on it. But I had cancelled Stan Sport, just not Stan itself. They had no fight in them. Game probably game of the week. Like, no offense. I got the draw 1 to 12, was paying $3.10. 13 plus was only $1.60. So no point really lots. Yeah. At the end of the day, anything under about that one, I always find about 170 or so is where you have your best value. Just because, like, a lot of people in the chat I've seen in the past, and they've been like, I put $500 on the Crusaders to win when they were paying $1.04. And I sit there and go, why? You know, like at the end of the day, for $500, what are you making back? Like $20 for 500? You might as well be putting that on. That might not even be the correct maths, by the way. It might be $10 that you're making back or something along those lines. And it's like, for that, surely you could back a side that's $1.50 and just put like $6 or $7 on them rather than, and that was also not the correct maths, like $20. You get my point, though. It feels like sometimes people are too optimistic that a low odd means that their side's going to win. Definitely not in Super Rugby. Like, any side can win this. Moana Pasifika, there's $6 underdogs at the moment, even though they're only down by 6. I only do the weekly ones. I flag it if I think they might lose to a top side. Says Nazi Williams. Waiting for the Highlanders to say, or what needs to happen for the Highlanders to stay in the top 8. Well, first of all, they need to win their next game. That's, to be honest, that's about it. They just need to win their next game, and they should be high enough maybe winning it with a bonus point, but the force is still low enough that they wouldn't quite get their way through. I got charged with Sky Sport Now. I cancelled monthly pass, cancelled it in April. They refunded it. There's Shane. And hey, brother, Hamish, g'day, milk. I mean, all. Mm. I wonder if there's any cow in the world that's named Milk. What my brain was thinking about there. But I hope you are doing well, David. I hope you're excited for the 3 games that we have got later on. We've got George on the next live stream between the Crusaders and the Waratahs. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. Your punting should be for fun, not for living, to be honest. Yeah. Like, I get when some people who feel that they're pretty good at it do put big odds on and normally end up success out of that. But, like, to be honest, like my TAB account, I always tell you guys, it's got like 10 cents in it. But that is because to be able to watch anything on the TAB, I believe you have to have some monetary number in your account. So that's the only reason that I have like a tiny amount in that account. But like if I was to ever try and predict anything betting wise, it would probably be like 5 different games, 5 different try scorers for 5 cents. If it works out, you get $1 back. If it doesn't, then yeah, not the end of the world. 5 cents, still have the 10 left. But yeah, like I'd never put a big money bet on just because for one, it makes you so nervous throughout the games, I would think. Like I don't think I'll be able to handle if like a team scored late against your side that you had money on. You can have 1 cent to watch the games. I usually do that for the NBA. Yeah, it's a good play, to be honest. Like I'm the same. I watch a bit of the NBA on there. They had some what else was on there? They actually had some international cricket or some lower level cricket on there. So I was like, sweet, just keep it so that it's got like a cent or two, and yeah, good to go. Or steak is a good name, says Nazi Williams for the cow. Should I buy a cow and name it Milk? Says AK12. Blues to win the first State of Origin game. Here's Shane Hayes. Good idea, Nazi Williams, Sky Sports for the Wars game. Hi, Milk. Was from Isaac. Maybe Milky. Milky would be a better name for a cow. Rather than Milk. Milk is very straight to the point, isn't it? And you say, Boss says David the Mod. 78% position in the second half so far for the Fijian draw. They have now got themselves the rolling more opportunity, which does already put Moana Pasifika down to $8.50 underdogs. Even though they're still well and truly in this contest. Name the cow Patty. Patty's a good name for a cow. What else is a name that I've heard for a cow? That one wasn't the straightest throw ever. Ref has to duck underneath that one. It's actually ended up hitting him. They do have to go back, and that will be a scrum for the Fijian draw. Couldn't quite get out of the way of that one. Mike McKee was asking about that line-out throw, saying it wasn't really straight, and that's how I felt. Milk of all milks, buttercup for a cow. And we might start warming up for a few beers, or with a few beers, says Nazi Williams. It's a big night. At the end of the day, we've got 4 games of the Super Rugby. We are on the first at the moment. After that, we have got, I guess, the 3 games of Super Rugby. We've got the Premiership final, which will be a 2 a.m. live stream, which is pretty much just a chilled out chat, to be honest. We're just going to be chatting away to you guys like we did last week for the Premiership, more of a laid back commentary on it. And then also alongside that, we are going to be having the URC final, which is taking place at 4:30 a.m., but we are starting at 4:15. Massive push there for the Fijian draw. Ball available at the back. Oh, they'll go back for the penalty. Lamani takes it quickly. Wasn't on the mark. So he has to go back. And I think he was happy about that because it was a little bit embarrassing. They did slip over out of the sevens go last weekend. In the men's department, Argentina able to win it up against Fiji in the final. New Zealand finished 4th overall. And then the women's side, they were able to get themselves yet again another victory in the ladies' side. I'm good. No milks for me. I'm full of it. Says a Blues Nate. And also Grey Goose vodka is a grown man's milk. You guys ever had eggnog? That's got milk in it, doesn't it? I've never tried eggnog, but the thought of having eggs in a drink, and they're raw eggs, aren't they? So the thought of that, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever try an eggnog. Got a nutmeg in it, isn't there? Where does the name eggnog come from? Nog, I assume, is some sort of slang term for beverage, maybe. And then egg, well, it's because it's got egg in it. Also, we have got there, yeah, Tyler text me, she's on with St. George. There's Nazi Williams, the inside scoop. Another scrum for the Fijian Drua, 5 metres out from the line. It could be a Lamani try just around the corner here. And never had eggnog either, says Shane. Might be more of a Northern Hemisphere thing, I'd say. Eggnog side of things. Big scrum again for the Drua. Holding pretty solid at the moment. Now going off the back, Lamani short ball to Kalaveti Ravovo. 1 metre out. Now going across. Who wants it? It's going to be Osefo Masi. Gets another try for the Drua. And extremely happy about that one, he is. And also, nah, Amish solid vodka, top shelf stuff, boss. Says, was a Nate and Tosso Drua Tosso. Says DK. Moment. That was a long message that I am typing. I am still typing it as well. We got a bit of a something planned for the next live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it more of an American thing? I think it is. They enjoy raw eggs, don't they? Just look at Rocky. He absolutely loved the things. There we go. Also, we have got the Go Moana the Grey Goose, not me. Says Robert there, and hey, says Blues Nate. Oh yeah, Robert's in America. Do you know of anyone who enjoys a bit of eggnog, Robert? I guess it's only really around the end of the year type thing, isn't it? And Druin need to play smart now, defensive tactics and more defensive tactical kicking. And up the Wawa says Blues Nate. As the second half started, it has indeed. So that was just the conversion taken by the Fijian Drua. Marnie's been kicking relatively decently. It's sitting 40 points to 27 at the moment. Yes, says Robert. That's kicked high. Nicely taken by Christian Leliafano. Nailed in the tackle by Ravatamanda. Bit of a counteract there from the Drua, but they don't get the ball. Amor flicks it out the back. Pressure starting to build. Osefo Masi steals another try. And that might just about be what the Drua needed. Now, what I mentioned after Moana Pasifika got the lead, I said that the Drua, they're the type of side to go and get three quick tries. I think that's their third now, rather than their second. But Osefo Masi gets himself his second or third try of the contest, I should say. It's a hat trick. It's a holiday thing. Says Robert, and Drua will win, says YouTube user. Now I think, yeah, well and truly correct. And yes, that's a bonus point, please. Says DK. Yeah, could be massive for the Drua when it comes to the overall scheme of the points. With a bonus point win here, that would actually move them up onto 22, which would just about put them above the Western Force, who are sitting in ninth, depending on the points differential. Thanks for supporting the Drua, says Samuela. Also, what a game we got here. Always a high-scoring game. It is. I'm looking forward to seeing if we get a 100-point contest between these two sides. They are currently in that bonus point position they have just mentioned. Great pressure from Osefo Masi. Ended up slamming the ball down. I'm a little bit surprised that Lamani hasn't been able to score yet in this contest. With the amount of tries that are being scored, he has assisted about 3 or 4, though, so that may be why. Right. Kick off for Willie Arvili. More tries, the better. Come and draw, play smart now. Here's DK. Now Mira. It seems like maybe Moana Pasifika's gas tank has started caving in. And come on, no. Says Isaac. Oh, turnover. In fact, penalty goes the way. Yeah, he had the wrong arm up. The referee, so that is going to be the penalty for Moana Pasifika. And Fiji must be favourite for 8th position. I will beat the Reds at home next week, and the Blues should beat Otago. Says Annoy. Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be the Highlanders versus the Drua, really. If the Drua can win against the Reds somehow with a bonus point, which I know, see, that's the thing. It's going to be very tricky to do. FIJIAN DRUA, they theoretically needed to win this game, or that they need the Highlanders to lose by about 30 or 40 against the Blues, and the FIJIAN DRUA need to lose up against the Reds if they do lose by 7 or less points. That's an early push there from the Fijians. A quick tap taken almost. Oh, he sold the dummy there. Michael Curry. Nuggy off to Japan too. He is. He's going to be leaving the Highlanders. And off to Toyota Verblitz for a 2-year contract, I believe it was. Maybe it might have been 3-year. I will watch the Warriors game. I want to watch the Blues versus Hurricanes game, says Shane Hayes. Although the good news about Sky Sport now that is, up in the top section, there's actually a multi-view button where you can watch multiple channels at once. So you could actually watch both of them and have the live commentary on the Hurricanes Blues game, and you can actually select which game you want to hear out of the two. It's going in nicely, Michael Curry. Now starting to march forward a little bit here for the Moana Pasifika side. They've gone over. It's going to be the try for the replacement. Number 17 does get over the line. And a Warriors versus Rooster today, I think Napier says Anoi Abre and Poli, the try scorer. Very well. Try. The rolling maul seems to be one of their dangerous weapons that they have got at the moment, Moana Pasifika. 4th try of the year. It's more than most backs have for other sides than the draw. Will be getting their Lee on tonight. Lee is a flower decoration people wear, says David the Mod. Although they're just hanging in there, aren't they? Once again, they were almost completely out of this contest. But now you still feel like maybe there's half a chance for another comeback to make it about 47-47 or somewhere around there. Thank you, the drawer, says Samuela. Come on, the drawer, play smart, defensive, tactical kicking, no playing in their own territory, says DK. And Laliafano lining up this kick to make the deficit 13. Has got that one over. Now, like I mentioned, 13 points difference between the two sides. Go Moana, says Isaac, and the Warriors versus Broncos in Napier tonight, says Shane Hayes. But yeah, that will be a good game to watch. I'm hoping to be able to catch the highlights of it, maybe even a full match replay if it's on at about 12 p.m. tonight, New Zealand time, while we have got our 2-hour break. We'll be cooking food and getting everything sorted for the late night live streams. The fact that we've still got another 16 hours or so of being awake is pretty insane. Now that I think about it. And also, a few Super Rugby players heading to Japan. Nice help. Versus Japanese rugby in Asia, says Nate. And I feel like it definitely furthers the opportunity for some sort of rugby championship to either involve Japan or some sort of competition in the Pacific Islands that has Japan involved. Whether that is like a Pacific Nations series with Japan, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga. Yeah, what? Chuck in the Cook Islands if you have to. You know, at the end of the day, they still manage to play some rugby throughout their time. And it's a Broncos, not a Roosters, says Hanoi. And Drew Hamish says Blues, Nate. 19 minutes remaining. Draw sitting on 47-34 for Moana Pasifika. So still scoreboard ticking over for both of these teams, sitting currently 81 points scored throughout this matchup. And so Sleeper's out for you at weekend. So much live sport on, says Shane. Pretty much like when we end up starting on even from Friday night onwards. Like our first live stream is normally the 7 p.m. game of Super Rugby. Then from there, I normally end up going to bed at about 5 a.m. on Saturday morning, wake up for the afternoon games of Super Rugby, go right through all the Super Rugby fixtures. Then we have a little break in between. Then we're jumping into the two finals. So next weekend, it'll be a little bit lighter on the sleeping schedule because I don't believe there's many late night games that will be taking place for overseas comps. Japan got dollars, throwing it at expat. Oh, it's a kick that's gone too long. Players, coaches, trainers, directors, and etc. Says DK, and go the Warriors, says Samuela, and Tosso Drua Tosso, says Italini, and go Milk, says Isaac. Looking like some tired players out there. Has anyone, I wonder, this is a genuine question, talking about milk. You know how players have their Powerade or they'll have their water in between halves? What would milk do in terms of your performance? Would you feel worse after a glass of milk at halftime, or would it have some sort of benefit for you? Because I don't think I've ever seen a player drink milk at halftime. And I'm curious, what kind of impact would it end up having? I'd assume if they had a fizzy drink or something, you'd feel pretty rank because you'd be all bubbly. And Cook Islands might not always win the game, but 100% guaranteed to win up after, says Nuzzy Williams. So yeah, that means it's good for the local clubs for the money coming in from the Cook Islands drinking bill. Let's get to the Stormers. What team do you support? So I'm pretty impartial in Super Rugby. I love watching these two sides play, mainly because they've only recently come into the competition. And it's great to see Pacific Island rugby grow because at the end of the day, there are a lot of New Zealand players who are originally from the Pacific Islands or they have Pacific Island heritage. And it's great to see now that they are starting to progress as their own nations as well, if that makes sense. Like FIJIAN DRUA been fantastic in the last little while of the competition. Big run from Sonamuri Funaki, moving to 5 meters out from the line now for Moana Pasifika Iritara Energy, going across to the right-hand side. I would go water, keep hydrated, farts in the scrum. Milk may affect your bowel movements. There's the MH Joy, and forget milk. Coconut water or juice is best. Natural hydrating liquid. Interesting fact. Stomach cramps, says Nate. Yeah, so I guess you get some sort of, maybe the stitch or something like that. That could be a fun video idea. Drinking 2 liters of milk, then trying to complete a 5K run. That would suck. I am not doing that. True, says Nate. I've been told to kick this one. Yeah, coconut water is something I could see people drinking at halftime. Nice take there from Tava Nawai. Charging at the line now. Moana Pasifika not out of this contest. Now close to the touchline. Oh, he's going to get wrestled. No, he got the offload away to Levi Moore, who bumps off Joe Tamani. Tries to bump off Rava Tamanda as well. Finds his offload to Michael Curry Almond Milk. There's Blues Nate. Back shot on Funaki there. He felt that one. Now off to the right. Quick hands. Adrian. Oh, sorry, it was Chris Apua with the ball there. Little grubber attempted. I don't understand that. Just pass. It would have been the better option. Little bit of a juggle there from a Ronnie Sal. Pressure now on Ravovo. Offloading it into touch. That's going to be a 5-meter scrum now for Moana Pasifika. He's a machine, that Fijian, for the Moana. Says Hanoi. Yeah, Tava now. He is an impressive talent. I hope that he either gets the opportunity for Fiji or New Zealand in the future. I think he's eligible for both, if I'm not wrong. And Tava Nawai, what a player, pace, power, and elusive. Yeah, I'd love to see him play for Fiji. I don't want to see a Peter Gus Sowakula situation again. How he plays one game for the All Blacks means that he's not eligible for Fiji, and then the All Blacks never give him another chance. Ronnie Sal, the sledgehammer, now making his way off the field. Moana Pasifika have turned this game around, though, that is for sure. All of a sudden, like, they could get 2 converted tries, and they're back in this contest. Imagine getting diarrhea on the field from the milk, and it goes down your leg, and heaps of hot chicks on the sideline. Says Nazi Williams. It would be unfortunate. That is for sure. I mean, we've seen it in like MMA and whatnot before. Now, I mean, Jerry Collins. Oh, what a run. Liliafano goes through, scores the try for Moana Pasifika. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Jerry Collins, he once popped his wee wee out, RIP, of course, popped his wee wee out for a piss on the field. He couldn't wait for halftime. for full time. So he just went, no, I'll just sneak this out, have a bit of a piddle there. Tava Tavanawai already committed for New Zealand Rugby Union. Fiji Rugby Union has lost another one, true story. So yeah, that's a big shame. And milk is very good for rapid hydration, says Hamish. Is Roger still playing for the Blues or is he still injured? I think he's out for this game. He's not playing. So maybe a little bit of an injury there. Then also maybe the Blues are just annoyed that he's decided to go back to league. The man who's nice, says Nazi Williams. Now, Moana Pasifika, they've gone from $36 underdogs to now $10 underdogs. There is still hope for them in this contest. Although I will mention, at the end of the day, if Fiji and Drua don't win this game, their hopes of a top 8 spot are gone, no matter what happens in that Reds game next week. Of course, if they get themselves a bonus point, they might still be a little bit in the hunt, but it's going to be very tough for them. And Russell Packer as well. There's Nazi Williams. Kick is successful from Christian Leleafano. That now makes the score 41 points to 47. We have seen 88 points scored, and we've still got 12 minutes remaining. It's either side's contest here. Moana Pasifika is actually going to $15 underdogs now, which is interesting. Seeing as they're not out of this contest. Everyone needs to focus on their defense, poor defensive efforts. No tactical kicking. Come on, the drawer. Even if I made one test, or even if he plays one test for New Zealand, still make big bucks in Europe afterwards. And that's an idea. At the end of the day, if the opportunity is there and you can make that money, like I feel like the Fijians are always a little bit more hesitant to go up north, but they've seen the success that's been evident for someone like a Semi Radradra, Tui Sova. You've got, the list goes on really, of Fijian players. Naya Falevu in the midfield for the Stade Francais. I don't know whether or not, did we ever see the combination in the midfield for Stade Francais? I think he actually moved, didn't he, Naya Falevu? We never got to see La Mape and Naya Falevu as the midfield combo that I know of. Editare Inari. To feed the ball in now for, it's gone down the front row. Oh, that was close to the penalty being given. A Fijian draw. Go the draw, says Samuela. A nice scoring game, certainly is. Always is between these two sides. They just know how to score tries, but then they also know how to concede them, unfortunately. 10 minutes remaining. 4:35 p.m. will be when the next contest is taking place. That will be between the Waratahs and the Crusaders. That is at Orange Theory Stadium, and we will have a guest for that live stream. I'm reset again. This uses up a little bit more time. Bulla Sam Wanga. There's DK, and also we have got their wonder who will coach Moana next when our major goes. Wayne Smith or some high caliber coach. I guess as long as they appreciate the culture, that's a big push. Moana Pasifika with the penalty advantage. Now they are deep inside of their own area. Nice little chip in behind, setting up awkwardly, knock on there, so they will go back for the original penalty in favour of Moana Pasifika. Jordan Way just getting a little bit confused there by the sounds of it. Not staying square. Also, Jamie Joseph for Moana Pasifika Coach 2024. I mean, it would be nice to see a high-level coach get over to them just because, like, you still want that Pacific Island flair. And, of course, it would be awesome if they did well with a Pacific Island coach. But I think for the first couple of seasons of their Super Rugby, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get an overseas coach just to help them progress. Because, I mean, the Fijian Drua, they have done extremely well in the last little while, haven't they? Like, they went from side that only had one win last season to, I believe they're sitting on 4 now or something like that. I'll just have a quick look. Or 3. Yeah, 4 wins. And looking at the sides they beat the Crusaders. They beat the Hurricanes. That ball is available now for Moana Pasifika. It's gone down. Was it a knock-on? I thought it was backwards, to be honest. So a little bit unlucky there for Moana Pasifika. You'll be happy with that. Pan Man doesn't have to be a Pacific Island coach who you think will coach of the Crusaders next year. It's probably one of the assistants might end up stepping up into that position. And last try wins this game, says Blues. No, exactly right. Was it a knock on from Moana? See, for me, that's gone backwards, but I'm not sure how they would determine that one. Sure, buddy. Sorry, champion. I missed your message last night. Sweet pea. I think that's the first time I've been called sweet pea, Tony, but I'm not against it. No, it's all good. WhatsApp's one of those ones, like, I think I left you on red. I left you, I don't even know if I read the message. I read it through my notifications, but I think I left you on red for about 4 weeks. It's probably about a week or so. So it's okay. I forgive. Ball's going in. To be honest, I know that you've sent a message, but I haven't actually read it yet at this stage as well. Osefa Masi now going forward in the midfield. I mean, Masi's already scored 3 tries. He's got enough to his name. Big shot coming in there. FIJIAN DRUA currently 40 metres out from the line. 2 cents said distracted sports telling lies over here. Says Mark. To be fair, Mark, I left you on red for about 15 weeks at least, didn't I? And I felt bad about it, but I didn't know how to start the conversation back up. So I kind of went into my anxious ball and just didn't say anything else. Here it is. I've left you on red since the 18th of September. So that's pretty impressive. That was back when you were watching Better Call Saul. There you go. No, 2 handsome men's from the north. Says Nate. I look at Strubble, says no, mum. I probably should have replied to that message now, shouldn't I? I'll put hi. There we go. You bastard. I read it. I looked at it. I was like, what do I say? What do I say? And then I just kind of panicked and went and put my phone down. And Tosa Rua says DK. Only 6 minutes remaining in this contest. The water break coming in. Very hot conditions. Actually, the hottest day we've had here ever on this day. Today. In my local area. Fun fact. It's quite fun. Well, I think it's fun anyway. Water off now, please. Be ready to get this one back underway. What is the plan? 2 cents rugby. Well, Mark, as I can call you because we're on like with the bros. What are the plans for after the Blues Hurricanes stream, which I assume you are doing today? Do you boys want to come on for a post chat after that one? I feel like now that I've done that on stream, it's put you under extra pressure, hasn't it? It's all good if you can't. Do let me know. Good afternoon, Jen, says Nate. In 6 minutes, come on the draw. Defence, says DK, and talk to the Highlanders head coach on Wednesday. He's enjoying coaching the autograph. Coaching the Highlanders. Got his autograph. Here's Shane Hayes. Like 2 handsome men from the north. And Sam is put at 2. There as well. And also the draw says DK, that's offloaded backwards nicely from Moana Pasifika. Unfortunately, though, a little knock on the ground. A bit further behind. And sleep. URC final at 4:30 a.m. That's going to be a fun one, isn't it? You're looking forward to it. I assume that you are, but Munster, I hope they turn up. At the end of the day, like if they go over there and lose by about 20 points, it just wouldn't feel like a final. We need a Munster side like they did up against Leinster, who just hang in there for as long as they can and at least make it go down to the wire. If it's decided in the last 5 minutes, I'll be a very happy chappy. Definitely because we would have been up for about 16 hours at that point. In fact, longer than that, like 18 or 19 hours. So it would be nice to see a close one rather than a one-sided affair. Just showing the knock on again. Scrum feed now for the FIJIAN DRUA on the halfway line. And I feel if they get themselves a penalty here, the FIJIAN DRUA, they will probably consider a 3-pointer as the option, mainly because that would get Moana Pasifika outside of it. That's going to be going down in the front row. Now short side. Here come the Drua. The replacement number 23 now 40 metres out from the line. I see Matawalu also has made his way onto the park. Lamani unable to score, but got himself quite a few assists throughout the contest. Still did pretty well. Levi Moore trying to get into that breakdown to get the turnover unsuccessfully. Now Osefa Masi short ball gives it away to Moana Pasifika. It says, hey, you want the ball, you can have it. Another chance. Does a Drua. And come on, Drua, gear up your defence. I'm out at a 40th. So probably miss all the rugby tonight, but 2 cents rugby is in. And he might bring Gaza, says Tony. Although I think that was possibly before He said that he was busy. That's all right. We'll have to get your boys on at some stage. And yeah, Gaz is here at the moment. We just stop ignoring him. He's standing to me at the same time, getting distracted. Take care, folks. Says Mark. Will say hi to Gazza from me. Mark, hopefully he is keeping well and is looking forward to the games a little bit later on. That's a penalty to Moana Pasifika. Uh-oh. Last minute chance. 4 minutes remaining here. Leliafano's down though, so they won't take the 3 in this scenario. And defense matter, says DK. You're not looking good for Christian Leliafano. Not a player that you want to lose at this time of the contest, that is for sure. And Gazmania out, says Mark. And, he said, oh, okay, say hello to Hamish for me. Says Mark. I have a question. Oh, you're leaving possibly at some stage, Mark, soon. Is Gazza ever going to be on the podcast? You ever going to have a three-man band with Gazza coming on, Gazza Mania, running wild on the pod? Anyone who does enjoy a rugby pod, by the way, be sure to check out 2 Cents Gets Distracted, rugby podcast, 2 Cents Rugby Distracted Sports, one of the best ones out there. Be sure to check it out on Spotify or anywhere that you can get your podcasts. I accept payment of PayPal, cash. I accept cash too. And does Fiji still get the bonus point even if Moana get within 7? They will get the 1 bonus point, yeah. So at the moment, they have got the bonus point sitting in favour of Moana Pasifika. FIJIAN DRUA would still get 1 if Moana somehow won this game. Let's go Samoa. Says Frank, I'm not sure the internet could handle it, says Mark. He said, I watched your video the other day, Mark. But not the one with Tony. Too bloody long. Yes. To be fair, podcasts are one of those ones that you either love them or you don't. I guess you could say, like, if you enjoy watching long-form content, podcasts are a great way of doing it. Definitely when it's like a visual one. Tony always adds a couple pop-ups every once in a while. Keep it juicy, but I think we did a podcast once, me and George over on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel. We talked all about me and my girlfriend at the time. So that's how you know it was a while ago. Top class blood Hamish says Distracted Sports. Yeah, it wasn't bad, was it? Actually ran off the tongue quite smoothly. So the Kiwi Lads, it's probably because I've done it quite a few times, to be fair. The Kiwi Lads and 2 Cents Rugby featuring Gazza at the game or half time. Says Nate. That would probably break the internet in the rugby world, that is for sure. Defense the drawer. Now nice rolling maul here for Moana Pasifika. They are only a couple meters out from the drawer's line. Oh, that's an advantage. They can throw everything into this. Rough ball doesn't quite work out, although picked up by Willie Halfbelly. They've called it as a knock-on, and they will now be going back for the penalty again. Tell you what, this is going to be a close game. And somehow there's a chance that either a side who scored 41 points or a side who scored 47 points won't win, which is pretty incredible. But 11 penalties against the draw has been costing them fire up Moana. And this is to kill the hopes and dreams of the FIJIAN DRUA to go through. They will still get the bonus point, but that would mean that they need to beat the Reds by about 40 points next week to have a really good cracker going through. Also relying on the Western Force to lose their game. Who are they playing, you may ask? And I am asking that too. They are playing the Chiefs, so that's doable. Brumbies would have to beat the Rebels, which is doable. If this will be huge if Moana Pasifika win. Yeah, their first game. Penalty again. Double blow of the whistle. Jordan Way turns off the time and he says, hello, lads, we need to have a bit of a chat here. Because that's like 50 penalties in a row. Doesn't look like they're going to be sending anyone to the bin, but 2 minutes remaining now. Moana Pasifika to win this game. We're sitting $7.50 underdogs. At one point in this contest, they were $36 underdogs. And if this isn't the perfect example of why you shouldn't bet on Super Rugby, this is probably about as good as it gets in terms of why a favourite is not always going to win. But they still could. That's the thing. Super Rugby, I don't know who's going to win. I'm just sitting here talking fast. We got a grocery delivery at halftime. That was a lot of fun. Saw some hash browns in there. Bit of salmon. Bit fancy. I'm not really a fan of salmon, but I eat it because it's good for you. Fun fact. I'm probably weird like that. If something's supposed to be good for you, even if it's not that nice, I'll still be like, I guess I should try and consume it. But 90 seconds remaining. They are going for the line-out drive again, one that has already scored them 2 tries throughout this fixture. Fijian draw with the throw, nicely taken by Michael Curry, and now the march starts. Now, I should mention they do need to get the kick over, which is working perfectly for them as they are rolling a little bit more towards the try line. Here they go. They're over the line. Moana Pasifika score, and that will now make the score 46 points to 47. Now, there still will be time remaining on the clock for one more play. And the Fijian Drua, now they find themselves as $12 underdogs. Sam Molly, the replacement number 16 scores, could end up being a historic win if Christian Lealiofano can get this kick over. 45 seconds remaining, ladies and gentlemen. This will be very interesting because Christian Lealiofano, I believe he does have to take this kick before the end of the game, which will mean we still have one more reset just around the corner. And 1 minute coming to let's go, Moana, says Blues Nate there. Sam Molly gets it right. Christian Lealiofano, he has missed one kick from this angle before. I think that the clock is going to be worn down enough that it will be the end of the game by the time this kick goes over. If he misses, the Fijian draw will win. If he gets it over, Moana Pasifika get themselves their first victory, but I feel like the pressure on this man's shoulders is a little bit too much. He kicks it. He misses it. And Moana Pasifika lose the game. The Fijian draw still have a chance at quarterfinals rugby. 47 points to 46. What a game to start the weekend. Kick to winner, says DK, but he is unsuccessful, Lealiofano. I feel bad for the man because he's nailed a few kicks from that angle, but that did look very similar to the one that he did miss earlier on. 47-46. The Drua win in this 93-point thriller between the two sides. The Fijian Drua, they'll be counting their lucky stars there because that could have easily been a loss to the Moana Pasifika side. And this goes back to what I mentioned earlier on. Moana Pasifika have been so close in so many occasions throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. This game, once again, just got away from the tomorrow draw. Says I said, and yeah, the Fijian draw, they move on to their game now up against the Reds, which is just around the corner. They will move up to 21 points on the board. They are tying with the Rebels. Their points differential is worse than the Rebels. So that puts that little bit of extra pressure on. Great game. Awesome. Poor example of defensive rugby. Says DK. Yeah, a lot of tries being scored. Unlucky boys. Solid game, though. Massive shout out to the crowds. Says Blues Nate. And there as well. Dosadura says Iseta. But nonetheless, that will be the end of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. The next live stream that we have got is just around the corner. And that will be the matchup taking place between the Crusaders and the Waratahs. That will be kicking off in 45 minutes' time. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.